Now, okay. Welcome to this webinar about training and education in the maritime and coastal development sector. This webinar is within the frame of the Festival of Diplomacy that is being held in this week in Italy, and it is due to the fact that Italy has become a member, partner of the Indian Ocean Rim Association, that is an association of the countries facing the Indian Ocean. And we, in this seminar, will explore the role that Italy can have in allowing education and training at a higher level for mitigating some of the problems of the coastal areas of the Indian Ocean. You know that we are facing now a lot of emergencies. One is the pandemic that we are experiencing in this moment. The other emergency is the climatic change that is affecting in some areas very, very strongly. But there is also another emergency that is the overuse of sea and seashore and coastal areas that brings a lot of environmental problems. I hope that our speakers in this session will help us to understand better these issues and outline what is the possible role that Italy can play in enhancing and boosting the capacity building and the training of the countries of the Indian Ocean Rim Association. So, without further ado, I will give the grounds to our first speaker, that is Mr. Mario Vattani from the Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation. He is the focal point of the IORA group in Italy. Okay, Mr. Vattani, please.
Thank you very much for your words and for your introduction. I'm speaking today on behalf of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, in particular the Director General for Global Affairs, because this is the department that has been following the relations with IORA since the very beginning. So before I actually go into the subject of how Italy is coordinating with IORA, I'd like to thank the organizers. I'd like to thank both the Festival della Diplomazia and Blue Sea Land. The Festival della Diplomazia has been a partner for our activity with IORA since the very beginning, I would say. And in fact, since 2018, we have hosted, together with the Festival della Diplomazia, already a number of Italy-IORA events. Of course, these events were held in person and not how they are held now. And this gives me the opportunity also to congratulate the festival for how they have really reinvented their format. In order to continue giving what we consider to be a service to our diplomacy and to what we are doing as Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Why I say this is because one of the characteristics of this festival, and I'm saying it especially for Andre Schar, who has joined us. He has his colleagues, well, a colleague of ours at IORA has already participated. Gatot Gunawan, the director for Blue Economy, has participated in already a couple of events which were hosted by Italy and by the Festival della Diplomazia. But for Andre, it is the first time. We're very happy to have him with us today. He is the coordinator of the working group on Blue Economy. So you can imagine that what the subjects that we will be touching today fall under his competence as far as the working group is concerned. So I really look forward to having listening to what he has to say, and especially for him to hear also what you will be discussing today. The other organization that I really want to thank, and is represented today by President Nino Carlino, is Blue Sea Land. Blue Sea Land is in fact, you could say it is an expo of directed to maritime fisheries, and this is the kind of themes that were touched, but also environment, development of coastal communities, response to challenges that affect especially the blue economy. This invention, I would say, was born already nearly 10 years ago at the moment. And I also have to commend the Blue Sea Land organization and President Carlino in particular for how they also have had to somehow answer to this challenge. And maybe for them it is even more difficult, because if there is an expo, an event that was really based on human connection and networking and being there, it is Blue Sea Land. I have experienced Blue Sea Land for a couple of years, but I have always heard about it. I look forward to what you will say, President Carlino. It is an example of how Italy is present in the Mediterranean. And it is an example also of how Italy knows how to showcase its excellences in the Mediterranean. And from this, I connect to what I wanted to say about the Italy-IORA dialogue partnership. Because the dialogue partnership between Italy and IORA was actually born, if you like, in the Blue Sea Land of 2018. Because at that time, we invited the Secretary General of IORA, Dr. Nonvuyo Nokwe, to participate. And this was a real opening from something that was mainly Mediterranean and African, especially the east coast of Africa, let's say from Somalia to South Africa, who is represented today also by Andre. And this was an initiative that we took together with South Africa, that at the time was the chair of IORA. So the Embassy of South Africa was extremely active in supporting us. And that was the beginning of an opening from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean. Now, one could say, what is the need for all this? Well, in fact, IORA, the characteristic of IORA, as our chair said before, as Dr. Pignone said before, is that it groups together all the countries that face the rim countries of the Indian Ocean. All these countries, bilaterally, more or less, in one way or the other, are partners for many aspects, and one of these aspects especially is blue economy, and blue economy in its wider sense, because it goes from maritime security to fisheries and aquaculture. I mean, you can see how wide, of course, I mean, the issue of blue economy is in the vision of our Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So to be able to deal with this organization and to be able to bring in contact our stakeholders with the stakeholders of this organization is really a precious opportunity for us. And this is why we decided to do it. Now, there is something just I want to add, because I mentioned stakeholders. There is something about the way that the method that Italy has used in building its relationship with IORA, which is strongly based on our stakeholders. This is due to the fact that it was our stakeholders in the blue economy that pushed us and that egged us on to strengthen our relationships with this regional organization and to become dialogue partners. So our partnership is truly founded on the request of our stakeholders. One of these stakeholders, for example, is Siam Bari. Siam Bari is definitely a I would say, and who is co-organizing this event, Siam Bari, when we talk of training, capacity building, when we talk of coordinating in a very concrete way with other Mediterranean countries and African countries, and not only, because they are active also outside of this, they are active also in Asia. So the Siam Bari was one of the stakeholders which cooperated with us since the very beginning. The other stakeholders who strongly cooperated is Federpesca. Federpesca, the Federation of Italian fisheries and fishing companies, who is active all over the world, as a matter of fact. It has offices in Brussels and coordinates on development cooperation with many countries already. And I'm very happy today to have President Giannini here, Luigi Giannini, who is not only the president of Federpesca, but is in fact also the president of the Italy-IORA Committee, which is something, which is an instrument, which was created by, by relations with our stakeholders. And this is truly, I would say, another point, another method that we use is to put stakeholders together, coordinate with them, have them networking between each other, put them in touch with the embassies of IORA countries in Rome, represented in Rome. I'd like to, for example, I have a very fond memory of when our ambassadors, our IORA ambassadors, were invited in Siam Bari for 2 days, and it was truly not only an enjoyable visit, because the Siam Bari, Andre, is in one of the most beautiful regions of our country. We have represented today also with Sicily and Puglia. They are the south, the beautiful south of Italy. But in fact, that visit was extremely useful for a very good reason, because it showed to the ambassadors that we were already working with IORA, because on that occasion we already had some students, which were not students, they are officers. They were officers. Many of them were officers and from officials from ministries of agriculture and fisheries and so on. They were already participating from countries that are members of IORA, Kenya, for example, Mozambique, Somalia. They were there. So it was easy for the ambassadors to see that it's just one step from the Mediterranean to the Indian Ocean. And this is what we want to do. This is our view. This is our vision, if you like. And I know that you also share it, because you were the gracious host of a meeting that was the first meeting that Italy participated in as a dialogue partner, which was the working group on blue economy, which you chaired in Mauritius in December 2019. So here you have a picture, if you like, of what we, how we intend our relationship with IORA. We have built a platform in collaboration with the Italy-IORA Committee, which is a web platform, which is also an instrument to create awareness. Please visit it and please use it. I say this to all participants today. This meeting will be somehow, there will be a narrative of this meeting also on that platform, but please use it as an instrument to create awareness and networking in the Italy-IORA partnership. Our partnership, I conclude, I've gone over time, not a little bit, but I need to say that training and capacity building is probably one of the things that we are still able to do in this difficult time. So I really look forward to what all of the participants have to say, and I thank the organizers again, and thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Rottani. Thank you for introducing so well all the speakers of this conference. Some of them I know personally. I think I've already met before in my career. Some of them are not. I have never met before. So, thank you very much for giving this outline of the capacities and competence of each of our speakers. So I will give the grounds now to Mr. Carlino from Blue Sea Land in the beautiful area of Mazara del Vallo. I've been visiting Mazara in its fishing fleet. It's the most important fishing fleet of Italy. So please, Mr. Carlino.
Sorry, I have no many time because I have many webinar. Thank you for this opportunity. The fishing district and the Blue Sea Land have always had a direct relationship with the IORA organization. This year we even managed to have a direct relationship through the Diplomacy Festival. We represent the companies in the fishing industry in the interest of the cooperation, the sustainability, and the integration of the people in the interest of using the available resource. Thank you for all and good work. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Carlino. And I think now we have to listen to Andre Shar, that is the coordinator of the working group of IORA for Blue Economy. And that's particularly important for us because within the frame of the European initiative of Blue Economy, Italy has played an important role. So Italy has coordinated a good part of this initiative of networking of Blue Economy for Europe. So please, Mr. Shah, the ground is to you.
Good morning to the moderator, Dr. Domenico Pignon, the fellow panelists, and also the participants. Good morning to you all. Firstly, let me just extend my appreciation to the organizers for this particular webinar on a very important topic, training and education in the maritime and coastal development sector, and also for inviting me to participate in my capacity as the coordinator of the IORA Working Group on the Blue Economy. Now, this webinar really takes place at a very critical time when the world has to deal with the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but which has also brought a time of reflection. I think we are all in our respective countries grappling with the challenges of the pandemic and are now focusing on economic recovery. But it is also brought about new opportunities for advancement of the blue economy. Now, Dr. Domenico highlighted just very briefly a little bit about the oceans, and there is no doubt about the important role of the oceans, which really makes up 70% of our planet. It really forms the heart of the planet in that it produces 70% of the oxygen we breathe, compared to 28% produced by the rainforests. It regulates our climate. The importance of the transportation of warm and cold water from the equator and the poles respectively. It's an important source of food, and providing the space for economic activities. So it really makes the ocean really, really very critical. We are also very mindful of the threats to the ocean, which I'm not going to deal with now. But the blue or the oceans economy sector is a very complex and very diverse sector. I think either Dr. Domenico or Mr. Vitali already alluded to that. But it also brings with it the economic space, or space for economic opportunities, as well as an opportunity to deal with the well-being of all our people. And we have to work together as a collective, and partnerships are really key. And at this stage, I am really very pleased by the fact that Italy has joined the IORA family as a dialogue partner. And we really look forward to working very closely with Italy and all our dialogue partners to advance the blue economy in the region. I thought to just highlight a little bit about our work plan for this working group on the blue economy. We've included about 8 thematic areas: fisheries and aquaculture, renewable ocean energy, seaports and shipping, seabed exploration and minerals, marine biotechnology, research and development, coastal and marine tourism, climate change, marine pollution, especially plastic. So these are very relevant thematic areas, and I am sure the colleagues and my fellow panelists that are also looking to seek partnerships and opportunities, these are potential areas to contribute to the work that IORA is doing. But I cannot overemphasize the key cross-cutting thematic areas, which really includes capacity building and training, the advancement of science, technology, and innovation. In fact, it is well recognized that science and science capacity is critical. We have also observed now during the COVID-19 pandemic, for example, that evidence-based decision-making is absolutely important. And so it is also important, it was important in the health sector, as countries were dealing with the pandemic and working on interventions to deal with it. So it is also very critical in the blue or the oceans economy. The science policy interface is absolutely important to further advance the blue economy. The training and capacity building, especially for young people in the region, and I'm referring to the IORA region in particular, as I'm now speaking in my capacity as the coordinator of the working group on the blue economy, but it's absolutely important. Young people to venture into fields that they have not historically ventured into. And I think partnerships like this, and that is why it makes this topic or this theme for this webinar so critical, is to get young people and especially women in the maritime sector and the critical role they can play in the advancement of a very complex and diverse sector, as I've already alluded to. I think there's huge opportunities. There's an opportunity to skill and reskill young people and steer and guide them into the maritime fields and provide specific training, whether it's a non-accredited training or accredited training. I looked at the interest of Italy in particular around what was already alluded to in terms of fisheries management, in terms of markets and food safety and so on. These are very critical areas, especially when it comes to fisheries, especially when it comes to aquaculture in particular, the diversification of markets, trading, looking at food safety standards. That's the kind of capacity building, and looking at standardization and harmonization of such methodologies. Very, very critical in the region as we want to advance aquaculture. Similarly, with fisheries. So, in conclusion, I think it is very important that we look at the sustainable management and the conservation, in particular, of our coastal and marine ecosystems. I think it's very critical to build and strengthen the capacity of governments and communities. And I want to stress communities as we work towards looking at alternative livelihood opportunities for coastal communities. We need to build a scientific base and data and knowledge. And for this, we need skilled young people that can venture into this particular field. And that's where training and capacity building can come in. The sharing of best practices, and very critically, the building of partnerships. And here again, thank you to the organizers, and thank you to you, Mr. Vitali. I think you had a major role to play in this important webinar, but partnerships are really key. No country can work like an island. As a collective, we can ensure that we advance the blue economy, and IORA, especially for the Indian Ocean region, really can provide that platform. I look forward to working very closely with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Shah. Thank you for your words. You have touched a lot of interesting points that I would like to recap at the end of this webinar, because some of these points, like policies based on knowledge or inclusion communities, or even that's something that I always have in some way boosted, is that the importance of aquaculture, that is the only way of fighting overfishing. It is one of the problems that in the Mediterranean we are facing at a very, very high level. But talking about fishing and maritime problems, I think that better than me can be Mr. Roberto Ugolini, who is in this case a senior fishing expert for fisheries, expert of the SIAM. The SIAM is an international organization, is based in the Mediterranean. The headquarters are in France, but they have active institutes in France, Spain, Italy, and in Greece. And the institute in Bari, is also called as the Mediterranean Agronomic Institute, is a long-lasting institution that was funded many years ago, and has been cooperating very, very actively with all countries of the Mediterranean and beyond Mediterranean, Middle East, Africa, and so on. So, no more words. Please, Roberto, go ahead.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me summarize my contribution on behalf of SIAM Bari, what our institute is doing for IORA. the Italian system comparative advantage in the fishery system, the crisis that we are living, the needs to adopt high quality standard for the market, and Siam e-learning in terms of education offer. Let me start from our action. On October 2019, several IORA ambassadors visited our campus. Countries of India, Indonesia, Malaysia, South Africa, Kenya, Somalia, and Mozambique observed our activity and our campus action. Later, Siambari organized a high-level intensive course on sustainable development of coastal communities in our Tricase branch, addressed to national institutions. We offer an overview on the blue economy, remarked several important concepts as food safety and security, poverty reduction, institutional capacity building, integrated management of coastal area, and social inclusion and decent work. This course, considering the achieved result, can be defined as an informal master because the results were very good and we want to replicate also in this difficult condition this experience. The Italian system has a comparative advantage in terms of food production and marketing. As you know, we are importing about 70–80% of our consumption. International partnerships are critical for us in terms of quality of diet from nutritional point of view. To control this market, we developed a very strong system of control, also according to European Union regulation, to offer to the consumer good food in terms of security and safety, according to the hazard analysis control point, that is the pillars to control food that we are both producing and importing. Our network is one of the best in the world and is based on the Ministry of Health. The Experimental Prophylactic Zone Institute control fish, ensuring that the good quality for the consumer. The crisis that we are living now requires new action, both in terms of program in the field and also in education, because the fishery market, as you know, is an international market. The action that we want to implement, that there is need to implement, is to observe, implement the same quality standard both for the export market and also for the local markets, ensuring good food also to the local people. Let me spend just 2 words about this problem, the wet market. We know that the wet market can determine risk and disease. The spillover can pass from animals to animals and to animals to the people. This is not a new history. In any case, what we have to do, considering the risk and the problem, is not to close the wet market that are very important in local and rural areas where are offering opportunity to life to million people. The approach that we have to follow is to improve the wet market step by step, proposing the same quality standard that we are using for the export to the rich country. In this context, in Siambari, there is a e-learning technical unit. Very important to implement training through the technology. We have experience from this activity since 2003 and can offer a training course using the remote control. The methodology that we are using is oriented at the same time to valorize the individual competence and the working group. Let me move to the conclusion. We would like to prepare a technical document that we want to share with all the participants. Just 2 remarks, what we can do within the context of dialogue between IORA and Italy. There are several countries in which we can offer technical assistance and training, also considering the priorities of Italian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The crisis that we are living demand, obviously, a new training approach, a new action implementation in support of the value chain, facing the contrast that sometimes exists between the products for export, high quality, and the products for the local market. We have to consider also that this crisis needs a strong social economic response and one innovative approach, because this crisis is technical, economical, and also financial, with a strong implication related, for instance, to national inflation, exchange rate, and interest rate. Let me conclude giving to you, distinguished participants, the greetings and acknowledgement of our director, Mr. Maurizio Raeli, and our deputy director, Mr. Biagio Di Terlizzi, responsible for development cooperation intervention. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roberto. Thank you very much. Very interesting. I can witness the capacity of training that Siambari has. They have participated to many programs. They have an actual campus. It's not only a research institute, it's dealing with some problems that are particularly important in the Mediterranean and in Apulia. We have this problem with this bacterium Xylella is killing olives in Apulia, but they also have a real campus that hosts hundreds of students from all over the Mediterranean and the Middle East. It's a very nice initiative, and they are very well skilled in training and dialoguing with people that are from different cultures, and so very inclusive situation. Thank you again, Roberto. So now let's give grounds to Mr. Luigi Giannini, who is the president of the Italian Italy-IORA Committee. Please, Mr. Giannini.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you very much to you and the Festival of Diplomacy that organized this webinar. And I would like to congratulate with them because of the choice they made to put in the middle of the discussion of this interesting 2 days discussion on the seaside, what the human resources that is, has a key role in the future the blue economy. We know that yesterday we had a webinar focused on the cruising sector, and one of the session, the one I chaired, was based on the impact that the pandemic has and still keeps on the occupancy side, and particularly on the crews of the cruising vessels, and this is a huge problem that is affecting also several of the countries in the IORA region, because we all know that a high percentage of people operating on board of cruising vessels come from such region. So this is, I mean, the key problem during these health and economic emergency. The main problem is occupancy, is labor, is human resources. And now I hope that the life will not stop because of pandemic, and we have to anyway go ahead. And let me tell, my idea is that now is the time to raise also in the labor side, and put the condition for a new development in the blue economy. First of all, let me tell you that one of the main problem when you talk about blue economy is not only the obtained by adding different sector in the anyway interface with the sea, but is the result of the interoperability of each sector with the other one. So one of the need we will have to face with is which kind of education, which kind of training give let me tell mostly to young people, to young generation. We have to reach a kind of compromise between specialization, because I will tell that innovation can be lead on just through specialization, but we have also mind that the blue economy is based on different sectors, and we do need that the people that will deal with such sector has enough competence to move to other sectors at the same time. There are different samples of sector that cannot give occupancy for all the year long. because they are seasonal, because there are periods in which there is no possible to lead on such activities. These could be, the leisure navigation, or the fishery sector, or the environmental employment. So we have to give enough competence through skills, basic skills, so specialization in a sector, and then basic skills to move during the year from one occupancy to another one, because these will be needed by the market. People operating in aquaculture, they anyway do have some periods in the year that when they could be employed also, aside than aquaculture, also in some activities that are maybe some 100 meters from the aquaculture farm, and they can integrate their income and their activity by applying themselves to different sectors at the same time. So this is one, I mean, of the key issues in education and streaming. This means that there is asked such a flexibility also in the education and training center. That means that they have to give a specialized skill in a certain sector, but also to give enough skill to the youths to allow them to move in the year or in the time from a sector to another one. I think that most of the policies in the IORA region, and that's one because we have to try to harmonize education and training in the IORA region to have equivalency in competence to be standardized and to be accepted and certificated all over the region. This is one of the needs we have. My colleague Ugolini was talking about the fishing sector. Even in the fishing sector, we do need to rely on skilled and trained people that could be employed also in responsibilities charged on board Italian fishing fleet or European fishing fleet. That means to have a kind of equivalency in the certification of competencies. I think that there is room for a large EU initiative now in education and training. You know that one of the strategical policies of the European Union is based on the Green Deal. It's perfect, and we do share this choice. My opinion is that aside this strategy, another strategy should be applied to the European Union and then extended to partner regions as IORA is a large program of education and training. There will be no work in the future for anybody without education and specific training. There will be no innovation in whatever sector without a specific training, education, and training. People with no skill will be condemned to unoccupancy. That's what I believe, and I do hope that the social commitment of institution and European Union in the first has not been based just upon indemnization of unoccupancy or just financial support to the lack of employment, but also to give condition, to put condition for employment, and the condition will be first of all based upon education and training. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Giannini. Thank you very much for bringing at the point of this discussion the humans. Because when we discuss about blue economy, we tend to discuss in terms of technology, in terms of economics, money value. But actually, the real motor of the blue economy are humans, human beings. And thank you very much for reminding this very essential point. Thank you also for reminding that training and education are mandatory for the development of communities or local communities, etc. At this regard, the next speaker, Mr. Fabrizio Monticelli, is a representative of one platform, I would say, in Italy, of platform of training that is able to train people in maritime activity. I think this is based, in Naples, this platform, and Naples is one of the most important ports in Italy for maritime activity, together with Genoa, for instance, etc. But it's very important. It has a very old traditions. I think it's probably the oldest Italian port, being Napoli. Naples actually is Neapolis. It's an old Greek colony, and it was an important port even at the times of the Greek people. So excuse me for this. I'm fond of Naples, so that's why. Thank you. So please, Mr. Giannini, go ahead.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning to all. Thank you for your kind invitation to participate in this webinar. As you say, I'm Fabrizio Monticelli. I'm director of Formare, and Formare is a leading professional and technical center for shipping and has many years of experience in providing support to high-level training policies, lifelong learning, and professional training. It aims at creating networks with institutions, experts in the field of maritime technology and innovation, policymaking agents and institutions of the public sector, private companies, and associations dedicated to maritime shipping, education, and innovation, regional and local authorities, and merchant marine academies. So, in the framework of this panel, dedicated to training and education in the maritime and coastal development sector, I will present the project Skillsy, future-proof skills for the maritime transport sector. This European project is indeed a model of cooperation in the field of maritime training and education, which is important to spread at a wider level. So I'm glad to join this important conversation in the frame of Italy-IORA Partnership and in the framework of the Festival della Diplomazia event, and to have the opportunity to raise awareness on the importance of maritime professional education and training, especially in light of technological and environmental changes that characterize our times. Next. Skillsea is a Blueprint Erasmus Plus project for a sustainable skill strategy in the shipping sector. The project has a time frame of 4 years, which started January 1st, 2019 and ends December 31st, 2022. As you can see, the partnership includes 27 partners from 16 countries, including Formare, Italian education agency for shipping, as co-leader of one of the project activities, implementation, work package 5, aimed at developing a long-term action plan for the viability and the renewal of the skilled governance system in the maritime shipping sector. Among the members of the advisory boards of the project, composed by a group of stakeholders of the sector at the European level, which has an important guidance and support role for the project, there is also Confitarma, the Italian Shipowners Association. Next. The project coordinator is the STC group located in the Netherlands. The project includes 27 organizations specialized in maritime training education from all over Europe, as you can see in the last slide. Among the most relevant partners, we have EXA, that is a European Community Shipowners Association, and ETF, European Transport Workers Federation, the European social partner of the maritime transport sector. But which are the main objective of the project? See if you can go. Okay, thanks. Which are the main objectives of the project? Skillsea aims at fostering the cooperation at the European level among the shipping industry, education, the training providers and authorities in order to develop a strategy to make the education and training for maritime professionals future-proof, adaptable, appealing. Support maritime professionals to gain appropriate skills for the labor market. Promote the skills sustainability strategy in the framework of the European maritime industry. Next. Technology and digitalization are transforming the shipping industry. Smart ships are coming in service, creating demand for a new generation of competent, highly skilled maritime professionals. The change also affects the maritime professionals training. Direct implications in terms of training and skills, the nature and structure on onboard rules, the working conditions, safety and security, and the overall well-being of seafarers. Europe is a traditional global source of maritime expertise, and the 4-year Skillsea project is launched with the aim of supporting maritime professionals in obtaining key digital, green and soft management skills for the rapidly changing maritime labor market. Seafarer education and training needed to keep up with the change and try to anticipate the future maritime professional role on board. Next. The project structure includes 6 work packages. Each work package is under the lead of the work package leader, that is a designated partner of work package, which is responsible for the overall performance of the specific work package. So, work package 1, Skillsea cooperates in order to figure out which skills are needed in maritime industry now and in the future. This is the main activity of WUPI1 aimed at identifying skill needs and skill gaps in the maritime labor market in the short, medium, and long term. WUPI2 The main objective of the second work package is the overall improvement of employment through development of knowledge, skills, and competencies within the maritime segment throughout Europe. This aim is obtained by developing and presenting a system for educational packages, highlighting the transversal skills aimed at matching present and future skill gaps to consistently meet the needs in the maritime industry. Skill C is working to define new educational packages, training programs, and specific teaching and learning methods to address the skill gaps present in the sector. WUPI3, the goal of Work Package 3 is to develop a pan-European strategy on future skills for the maritime shipping sector. This WUPI includes the framework of the strategic plan for the development of skill strategies. WUPI4, the Skills project is flanked in its activities by WUPI4, whose main aim is spread the word, inform the public, raise awareness, and mobilize the main stakeholder of the sector. WUPI5, the main purpose of the project, and in particular of Work Package 5, co-led by Formare, is to promote a model of sustainable skill strategies given the broad geographical coverage and the high importance and the reputation of the project partnership. The objective is to facilitate dialogue at the national and the European level with the relevant competent authorities and with the key players of the maritime cluster. So, capacity building and continuous collaboration among all the representatives of the maritime cluster play a fundamental and crucial role. Inclusion, looking ahead, future-proof training and education are vital. This will make career progression and mobility possible in an ever-changing maritime transport sector, and it will guarantee the sustainability of the industry in Europe. Next. So, if you wanted to know more about the project and its cooperation model, please do not hesitate to send your question to the following contact. Next. Thank you for your kind attention.
È mutato, dottor Pignone.
Sorry, I didn't realize I muted my microphone. Okay, I want to thank Mr. Monticelli for his talk, and just to say that many of the arguments that he has outlined during his presentation are linked actually with the aspects that the speech of Mr. Giannini had evidenced before. The importance of training at different levels for people employed in the maritime activities, it's very important. So there is a need of a higher level training, and there is a need of lower level training. So there are different levels. So after thanking again all the speakers for their excellent presentation, let me recap a little bit the key points of this discussion. The first thing that I was thinking, why Italy? The Indian Ocean is quite far from Italy, and normally we think of the Indian Ocean as a place where to spend our vacations mostly. But in reality, Italy is a place that has a high development of coastal areas in the Mediterranean, and it is deeply engaged in many of the problems of the Mediterranean, like, for instance, some of the I have already outlined before, the impact of climate change, the impact of transportation on the maritime transportation on the health of the sea. fishing, overfishing, illegal fishing, and more important nowadays is the invasion of human activities along the coast, also for tourism, also for crusade tourism that often put some areas under very strong pressure. Just one example is the pressure you have already heard of the problems that big cruise ships have in the area of Venezia, of Venice, due to the movement of water that these ships have. So there are a lot of arguments. And we in Italy have a special laboratory. This laboratory is the Mediterranean. So we think that all the efforts that we have put for building our capacity and the capacity of our member partners in the European Union and the Mediterranean countries, all these skills that we have had the possibility to build up for our use can be modulated and reproduced for the countries that face the Indian Ocean. In some way, the Indian Ocean is a larger Mediterranean Sea in some way, because it's not an ocean, it's not an open, big open ocean like the Atlantic or the Pacific Oceans. It's similar to ours. So this is another important thing is that in Italy we have platforms that are able to help people for training, help training. Surely we have these platforms based in Naples as like Skill C that has been illustrated by Mr. Monticelli, or like the experience made by the SIAM as Mr. Ugolini has before said. Of course, the sea has been and in the past and is a place where we produce a part of our food, is a place where we bring our free time for a vacation, etc. But we have never to forget that sea is not something that separates countries, but it's something that unites nations. Because I think the biggest route for exchange of goods is actually sea. And we have not to forget that there has been a big change over the time in what is transportation of people, transportation of goods. Nowadays, the big container ships bring material from all over the world. Let's never forget, for instance, that our technology, with the technology that we are using today for this connection, are linked to some minerals that are mostly produced in China nowadays and are transported by ship. So this is the very important thing. But as already outlined by Mr. Giannini, we have never to forget that at the center of all these interests there are humans. There is the human being. So I think that in the end, concluding that the participation of Italy as a dialogue partner to IORA is an important action, and I thank the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation for having put a particular attention and having worked to make it possible to become a partner, a dialogue partner of this organization. So let me again thank all the participants to this webinar. Let me thank all the organizers and the technicians that have made possible this very interesting session. And I give you big goodbye. I hope to see you again soon in a similar seminar. Thank you very much and goodbye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you to you.
Thank you.